Stitchfield.
Hi, I'm here for Kristen Charlo.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And then, let me see, we did just get an email right before coming into this about another proxy. For Councilmember Tilk, from Gilbert.
Member Kathy Tilkey, yes. Hi,
Oh, there you are.
Hi, my name is Monica Diortenzio. I'm her council aide.
Well, thank you very much for coming in. We appreciate you.
No problem. I am not quite sure how to change her name to,
Okay.
okay, just making sure.
Yeah, no, thank you. Appreciate you coming in.
All right, Madam Chair. Looks like we have quorum whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, members of the MAG Regional Domestic Violence Council. This meeting is now called to order. This meeting is being recorded and live streamed on YouTube as a way for members of the public to participate. For those participating via Zoom, please state your name when making a comment or asking a question. I'll ask that you keep your microphones on mute when you're not speaking. We will now begin the meeting with roll call of all the members. Mimi?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Celeste Adams. Zach Altman.
Present.
Vice Mayor Lupe Bandine. Emily Karen.
Emily Karen, present.
Thank you. Patricia Ibeda Young on behalf of Jenny Chavez. Joshua Clark.
Present.
Thank you. Allie Klein.
Here.
Councilmember Ellis.
Present.
Councilmember Friedel. Cindy Garcia.
Present. Sorry, present.
Oh, no worries. Thank you, Councilmember. Cindy Garcia. Laura Guild.
I barked at.
You're good. Deanna Granado on behalf of Christine Hahn McDonald. Elizabeth Herbert. Sam Hinchy. Burdetta Hodge.
Sapin Dalazada here in representing Councilmember Hodge.
Thank you, Sapin. Mary Lynn Kasnick.
Here.
Patricia Clark. Councilmember Sherry Loretano. Director Andrew Lefevre. Kevin Mattingly.
Present.
Thank you, Kevin. Councilmember Anita Norton. Amy Offenberg.
Present.
Thank you. Carol Park Aiden. Chris Charlow.
Anastasia Stinchfield for Kristen Charlo.
Thank you, Anastasia. Melissa Thomas Brickhouse.
Present.
Thank you. And Monica Diortenzio on behalf of Kathy Tilkey.
Present.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have quorum.
Thank you very much. Our next item is a call to the audience. This is an opportunity for the public to comment on items that fall under MAG's jurisdiction that are not on the agenda or that are on the agenda for discussion and not for action. Members of the public can submit written comments via the MAG website up to 2 hours prior to the meeting. Mimi, do we have any written comments for this item?
There are no comments for this item or any future items, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Right, item number 3 is the approval of the April 4th, 2024 meeting minutes. Does any member of council have any questions? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I move to approve the minute, Madam Chair.
We have a motion from Councilmember Christine Ellis. Do I have a
Allie
second?
Klein, second.
Thank you. Allie Klein has seconded the motion. Members participating online will now take a voice vote by turning on your cameras and unmuting your audio. For those who cannot or do not want to turn on their cameras, we will conduct a roll call vote. Members, please leave your cameras on until after the roll call vote. Give everybody just a minute to turn your cameras on if you so choose. Thank you. Can I have a voice vote from the members? Those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. Mimi, can you take a roll call of the members participating virtually who did not participate in the voice vote?
Yes, I believe Elizabeth Ovelli. I did not see your camera turn on. Are you here as a proxy for a member?
Yes, I'm here as a shadow for Councilmember Christine Ellis.
Okay, thank you. So we will not count you in the vote. And then Monica DiOrtenzio on behalf of Kathy Tilkey, were you able to vote?
I did not vote. I have not heard back from Councilmember Tilkey on how she would like to vote.
Okay, so you'll abstain from the voting. Thank you. And then Patricia Abieta Young, what is your vote? Okay, we'll come back to Patricia if she can vote. And Emily Karen?
Voted to approve the minutes.
Okay, thank you. And one last time for Patricia. Okay, minutes will reflect that Patricia was unable to vote. Thank you, Madam Chair. The motion passes.
Thank you. With the motion and a second, the motion passes. Thank you for the motion. Thank you, and the motion carries. Okay, next on the agenda will be an update from DES Abuse in Later Life Grant by Jody Hector. Jody, thank you for joining us. The floor is yours.
Thank you. So I do have a few updates today. The budget modification that we submitted in December of 23 has been approved, and we moved the remaining funds for direct services. We gave that to Dove's mobile advocacy staff so they can continue to support victims of late life abuse with OVW funds. So if you do know anyone that is experiencing elder abuse or abuse in later life and is over the age of 50, please call the senior helpline and ask for Doves to help with the Abuse in Later Life Grant Fund, if appropriate. We have also been busy writing the continuation grant called the 2024 Training and Services to End Abuse in Later Life, and we will submit that in about 10 days. We now have 9 MOU partners, including MAG, the Area Agency on Aging, A New Leaf, ACES-DV, Attorney General's Office, Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, Maricopa County Attorney's Office, Arizona Faith Network, and the Lutheran Social Services, Refugee and Immigrant Services. And we also have over 30 letters of commitment for the continuation grant. So we really hope the grant is awarded in October of 24 so we can continue this important work. Just so you all know, the grant does end on September 30th, unless we are awarded this continuation grant for 3 more years. So those are all the updates I have for you today. Are there any questions?
Hearing none. Thank you, Jody. We do appreciate you coming and giving us the updates. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, next on our agenda will be Vice Mayor Lupe Badina and Councilmember Anita Norton's experience at the Jobs for Arizona Graduates most recent career development conference. Welcome, and the floor is yours. I didn't think I heard Anita was on. Is Vice Mayor Lupe with us?
I do not see her on the call, Madam Chair. However, we did speak before the meeting and she confirmed she would be in attendance. Let me just give her, send her a quick email. One moment.
Okay. And if you'd like, we can move forward and then come back to this one.
That sounds good. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Andrew, did I hear you speak? Sorry.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I apologize for being just a slight bit late. So I just wanted to note that I am here and active, and I think you went past me till I was able to log in. So.
Well, we appreciate you being here. Thank you, Andrew.
Sure.
Right.
May I also jump in out of order? This is Carol Park Aiden on behalf of Community Legal Services, and I too would apologize, but I'm here now. I'm late, but I'm here.
Hey, thank you for showing up.
Thank you. Well,
Glad to
I
have
got
you.
stuck in another Zoom. What else is new?
I think we can all probably relate to that in this day and age. So we appreciate you being here. Thank you. All right, we're going to go ahead and move to item number 6. Our next agenda item is the misdemeanor domestic violence protocol model. As some of you may remember, during our April 2024 council meeting, we discussed creating a work group to complete the annual review of the protocol model. I'd like to continue this discussion on how we plan to complete the work for this project moving forward. Do any of the members have any questions or comments regarding this particular item or how we should move forward in updating the model? If not, I've got lots of things I can say. Amy, I see you came off of mute. Maybe not.
No.
Oh. Well, I called you out anyways, Amy. Thank you. Okay, so if you guys don't mind indulging me then, I took down a few things that I hope that we can talk about. So in our last meeting, we did talk about when we were looking at updating this protocol to try to have someone who could be part of the discussion specifically on traumatic brain injury. And I know Mimi is off contacting some of our other council members. I was wondering, Amy, if you know, was MAG staff able to reach out to anybody to be a representative for the traumatic brain?
Madam Chair, maybe you might be in a position to respond now.
Okay. Hi, Mimi.
Hi, Chair. To my knowledge, Kelly did not inform me that we were able to contact anybody. So at this time, we do not have anyone.
Okay, perfect. Then I think if we can continue to look at that as we're looking how we want to move forward with this, that would be great. As hopefully the members have had an opportunity to go back and review the model that was last updated on May 22nd of 2019. There were several sections to this model that I believe historically were broken up into individual subcommittees, and people selected to be on those subcommittees based on their expertise in writing the report. And those sections are the initial report, which is what happens when someone calls into 911, the on-scene investigation, what is PD's response, how and what determines the decision to make an arrest, on-scene assistance for victims. There was a section for officers on how to complete the reports, their report, and then there's a section on follow-up for the victims. One of my questions to this group is, do we want to revamp this model the same way that it has been written? Or do we want to engage in something that looks at it in a different way, that instead of just focusing on misdemeanor domestic violence, that we also look at teen dating violence and add teen dating violence? Or is that a completely separate issue that we want to keep out of a protocol, out of this particular protocol around domestic violence?
Madam Chair, if I may, I know in the past, when we talk about domestic violence, we broadly talk about it. We never really compartmentalize it with teen by itself, even though there are organizations that's all they focus on. And then there are others that focus only on adults. Same way, I don't think we separate them from gender either. So if we wanted to put something in there that will help us to cover all the gamut of domestic violence, I think at this level of MAG will be a great place to start that.
Thank you, Councilmember Ellis. I thought I heard someone else come off mute. Was there another comment?
This is Carol, and I would echo what Commissioner Ellis just indicated. I think that there's additional considerations that might need to be considered, but do so within the the existing model. You know, what factors might be relevant material significant when responding to a 911 or other similar call or situation. That would even include folks that might have special needs, both physical, mental, and everything else. In addition to, for example, the teen aspect, folks that aren't quote unquote, adults. But I think there's different aspects that can be brought in, but within I think a similar structure. And by the way, I forgot to say this, I did volunteer to serve in some capacity because I would clearly at Community Legal Services see the importance of basically reviewing and offering some updated input crossing all disciplines concerning this. I had a very ignorant question, and that was, and I'd like to be educated, but obviously not at this meeting, as to the protocols being labeled, the model being labeled misdemeanor, as opposed to what might be perceived as more egregious, or just understanding the context of that, because I don't, and my background is not necessarily in criminal, but I find that term limiting, and so I'm sure there's a historical basis for it, and I'm ignorant about it, and I would like to kind of understand that, so get myself up to speed as to why, in fact, I'm not sure. It's clearly putting it in a criminal context spin, and that may make a lot of sense. On the other hand, that's a more narrow term, and I want to understand why. To me, this could very well be responding to what we believe is a domestic violence situation. What should we be doing, as opposed to already labeling it at one level or another in a criminal context. So
Thank you, Carol. Amy, I saw you come off of mute. Would you like to address the historical aspect of this?
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the Regional Domestic Violence Council. We had developed the protocol originally in response to feedback that we had received that there wasn't, that there were some opportunities, that the way that we approached misdemeanor domestic violence crimes, keeping in mind that domestic violence itself is not a crime, it's a tag to other crimes such as assault, battery, stalking, things like that. That there were very different ways that those crimes were being arrested, prosecuted, and that there was a lot of opportunity to try and provide an evidence-based approach to determine which ways were the best ways. So when we started off with developing the original protocol, there are 106 different ways that that law enforcement were arresting and prosecuting domestic violence offenders. And we went through a very intensive exercise, working very closely with law enforcement, with prosecutors, to determine what are the best practices in terms of arresting and prosecuting domestic violence offenders. If memory recalls, we chose to focus more so on misdemeanors because there's less structure. Once it rises to the felony level, there's more structure around that. And so the opportunity to provide that clarity was more so at the misdemeanor level, but I would defer to others in the field who have more expertise in that. Andrea, you have your hand up. I'm not sure if you want to jump in on that point.
Yeah, sorry, I have a cold, so I apologize if I sound a little froggy today.
That's okay.
But yeah, according to statute and by law, the only crimes that are required to be entered into the criminal history system are felonies, and then DUIs, and then misdemeanor sexual assaults and DVs when they get those indicators added to them. So it is one of the few things that is trackable across the state. And if there's an interest of the council, I could have our statistical analysis center provide some information. I know we do a sexual assault report every year, but I'm not sure if we break that down into DV or not, but we could certainly look at the case number or the amount of cases that get that DV indicator that enter into the criminal history system, and perhaps maybe give a better context for the numbers that we're talking about.
Madam Chair, you're on mute.
I did that so you couldn't hear all the noise in back. Sorry about that. Thank you, Andrea. We really appreciate that offer. I think we will take you up on that offer. Mimi, if you can add that to our agenda for our next meeting, that would be awesome. Andrea, if you need more time than the time between now and our next meeting, please let me know. I see Zach Altman that your hand is up.
Yeah, just one point to touch on that. Andrew brought up a few years back, they did change the statutes for what needed to be fingerprinted. All of those 4 that he had listed still exist. And they also extended it quite a bit from that. So I think most of the agencies are now fingerprinting all misdemeanors, all felonies, and marijuana related civil offenses. There was a change involving fingerprint notifications, fingerprint dispositions, and like different licenses that people can hold through those fingerprint clearance cards. So starting about the end of 2022, we may have better data than before, is all I'm getting at for that.
Thank you, Zach. We appreciate that information. So to Carol's point, sorry, Laura, I see your hand up. Go ahead, Laura.
Yes, well, before we move forward, I was just looking at the protocols and related to the suggestion on teen dating violence added. The way it's structured is there's protocols for all these different systems, law enforcement, APS, judiciary. And so it's not by topic area, it's by the system. It appears to me. So then I wonder, would they just be reviewed, each of these sections, to see that there's nothing that would dismiss or overlook teen dating violence? That's something that could be added into each of the protocols. The way it's structured right now, unless it's some sort of an additional report related just to teen dating violence, you'd almost have to do it the other way, of finding where in each of these protocols that should be addressed.
Thank you, Laura. Go ahead, Amy.
Madam Chair, Ms. Guild, and members of the council, if APS is since APS is included, if there's a teenager who's being arrested and prosecuted for domestic violence, and we might want to just look into, should the Department of Child Safety also be included then? And I do think it could be really helpful to pull together some folks from law enforcement, the prosecutors, who can help us to identify the changes that have been implemented since the protocol was originally developed or last updated, and then to take a look at, are there additional best practices then that could be considered for inclusion into the protocols. Something like that could be a very helpful exercise.
Thank you, Amy. I agree with that. And so my interest in the teen dating violence, because to me, there's some similarities between that and domestic violence, and the fact that domestic violence is not the crime. I'd say the same with teen dating violence. And as much as historically we've struggled to get law enforcement, the courts to identify an assault as being domestic violence related, I think that we struggle now with them identifying whether the relationship between the teens is a dating relationship or not. And I don't believe there's any statute, but I'm not legal, so anybody can correct me on this, regarding is there an attachment for dating violence that would escalate it to the same way a domestic violence case is viewed and treated in the judicial and legal system. So I agree this format might not be the best place to add teen dating violence, but it's kind of been my mantra for about a year now. So I wanted to make sure that we consider it. And then Amy provided historically why this protocol was created and needed. So I guess the other question is the protocol still needed, or have police agencies across the county now developed, and courts developed, the standard procedure where maybe this protocol isn't needed in this fashion anymore, and we should look at a completely different format of how we're looking at providing best practices when looking at working with individuals who are victims of domestic violence and dating violence. Go ahead, Amy.
May I, Madam Chair and members of the Regional Domestic Violence Council, just off the cuff, I'm wondering, because the original impetus for developing the protocol was how do we hold abusers more accountable? And so I'm wondering if we ask that question again now and talk with different stakeholders and then determine, is arrest and prosecution the best way or the only way to hold abusers accountable, or are there other alternate means? I'm not sure that I have the answer to that right now, and it might be a worthwhile question to be included in the exploration.
Thank you, Amy. That's a great question.
And also, Madam Chair, if I may, since you mentioned also that there is so much that have been done in that space by other stakeholders, could it be at this time we needed to kind of have a consensus across the board and see what they are doing and how can we actually partner with them to improve what we already have or add to it and make it more valuable versus totally strike it out because it's being done elsewhere. I still think that we need to always be at the cusp and try to lead also, because that's why this group was formed, to be able to be that voice at that level. So, but collaborate with other groups and see what they are doing in that space can give us that reinforcement that we need to make our voices stronger.
Thank you, Councilmember Ellis. Mimi, is anybody else's hand up? Or does anybody else have any comments regarding this?
Madam Chair, I do not see any other hands raised.
So what, moving forward, and I don't know if we can take a vote here, if we're allowed to vote on anything right now, or if it's just still discussion. So please let me know if I misstep on this. But what if the first group or subcommittee group that we were to try to form is to determine what entities we would want to survey for this question of how are we holding abusers accountable, and developing that question. And then my next question is if we're able to develop this, could MAG support putting out that survey to identified community members?
Madam Chair, we are happy to assist in any way. We, as an initial step, we could draft a scope of work based on what we've heard today during the committee meeting and then circulate that among the members. And then if there's work with distributing a survey, something like that, convening partners, then we would be happy to undertake those activities on the council's behalf.
Thank you, Amy. So what I just heard is that first we need to develop a scope of work.
I think that could be helpful. Yes.
Okay. Is that something that you want us as a committee to do, or is that something that MAG will take on and then bring back to the committee for us to review?
If it's helpful, we can certainly draft the initial scope and then bring it back to the council for your review, for your refinement, and any ideas to help strengthen it.
I would support that. Does anybody else have any questions or thoughts on that plan?
I will support that also.
This is Sally Klein. I think that's a great idea and a great opportunity. So go forth, Amy, and be fabulous as always.
Thank you very much.
Is
the world a better place. I'm sorry, Councilmember Ellis. I didn't mean to speak over you.
Not at all. I was just reiterating the fact that she's always fabulous. And so is Miss Mimi.
Thank you very much. You too.
Should we all just take a vote on that? No, just kidding.
No.
Do we have to do roll call vote on that? Just all say aye.
There you go. Let's all say aye. All right. If there are no more comments or questions, maybe we'll move on then. Were you able to get in touch with Vice Mayor Badin or Need?
Yes, Madam Chair. Vice Mayor Bandine, I believe it's the phone number on this call. Vice Mayor Bandine, can you
I'm
hear
on the
us?
phone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can hear you.
welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I've not learned my lesson about not hitting a update before I go do anything. So I think I hit an update on my computer and now I can't get on Zoom. So here I am on the phone.
Well, we appreciate you. So we're
Thank
going to
you.
go ahead and then go back to item number 5 on our agenda. And that agenda item was for you to be able to give the committee an update on your experience at the Jobs of Arizona Graduates most recent career development conference. So the floor is yours.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Again, my apologies. Thank you, Chair Ernst. Okay. The Jobs for Arizona Graduates Career Development Conference was to be held in April of 2024. Councilmember Anita Norton and I, we started checking their website periodically, and when their registration was open, we submitted an application and the fee right away to secure a space for our crisis workforce work group booth. So bright and early on April the 11th, we made our way over to the Mesa Convention Center. Since we were early, we secured a good space that would get a lot of traffic and was easy to stand around. There were lots of booths in the job fair area. Nearly 800 students representing schools and communities from every corner of Arizona attended. Now, I've worked in public school finance for over 40 years, and I've worked at many school districts throughout the state. So it's kind of fun to be able to meet a student from, let's say, Westview High School and greet them with "Go Knights," or mention district office staff members' names that were recognized by students from Saddle Mountain School District in Tonopah, Arizona. So that was kind of fun. Students were allowed to enter the career fair areas throughout the conference. So Councilmember Norton and I met and shared information with approximately 90 students directly. I did keep track. We provided a brief summary about advocacy and provided a list of all the community colleges in Maricopa County. The classes available included the fast track classes. We also provided a list of the types of entry-level jobs available that do not require a degree and a list of nonprofits to connect directly for more jobs information. It was certainly a very productive and fun time, and the students we met make us feel pretty good about our leaders for the future. So, thank you.
Vice Mayor Badine, thank you so much for all your work on that and for the summary. That sounds like that was probably exhausting. But I really appreciate your outreach.
It was a fun time. It was a fun time. The kids gave us a lot of energy.
Oh, that's great. Does anybody have any questions?
Their energy is infectious.
Well, again, we appreciate your summary on that. And again, one more time, are there any questions for Vice Mayor Bandine? All right, seeing none, we really appreciate you being here.
Okay.
So that moves us, thank you. So that moves us to item number 7, which is the request for future agenda items. Are there any requests from council members on any future agenda items? Andrew, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I figure if we're already going to be talking anyway at the next meeting, I'd like if we could maybe get on the agenda to talk a little bit about the next iteration of the SCIP grant, which is the Safer Communities grant that's running through our office. We already did one round of that, and we should be getting 3 more years of that funding coming through, and it's for primarily gun violence prevention and intervention efforts. But given the nexus of domestic violence and guns, I think there could be some possibilities for MAG and for the MAG members to hear more about that and see if they think there might be a way for them to take advantage of those dollars. So I'd be happy to bring my program people into the meeting and they can talk a little bit about the gun safety public awareness campaign that we're going to be running through our office, and then maybe a little bit about what they're anticipating the next round of applications will look like and when those will be available.
That would be excellent. Thank you, Andrew. Mimi, is there any other information you need to put that on your agenda for the next time?
Madam Chair, oh, go ahead, Amy, did you? I think you're muted.
I was saying to go ahead, please.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Madam Chair, thanks for asking. I think I'll reach out to Mr. LaFever and we can touch base on more details for the item.
Excellent, thank you. I look forward to hearing more about that. Thank you for being available to offer us that information. Any other future agenda items? The only other thing I had recommended, I think previously, but I almost think it's too big of a weight to carry along with us reviewing the protocol, is identifying and reviewing domestic violence fatality review reports from our different communities and looking at what their recommendations are and to see what we as a council could support and potentially help move forward. Laura, I see you're off mute. Was there something you'd like to add?
No, I agree. That would be great.
So I don't want to overburden because I know we all have enough work to do. So if we want to table that until we get through the protocol and decide how we're going to move forward with that, I'm fine with that as well.
Madam Chair, I would think that maybe some of the content or the conversation that could come out of the presenting the results of some of the reports might be, give some ideas or thoughts to the protocol process.
Okay, I appreciate that, Laura. Thank you. Excellent. So again, not to put too much more work on our MAG partner, is that possible to get copies of some of the most recent domestic violence fatality review reports within the county so that we can share that with our members, either prior to next meeting or maybe even 2 meetings away, and then we can bring that back as an agenda item to discuss after they've had an opportunity to review those.
Madam Chair, members of the council, we're happy to reach out and to report back at the next meeting.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right. Hi, Kevin Mattingly. Please, you have the floor.
Hello, Madam Chair. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
On the discussion of DVFRT, just want you to know that all the prior DVFRTs conducted by the City of Phoenix are on our website, Victim Services and Human Services Department. So there's no need to request anything. You can click on it, read it, and download it from there.
Thank you so much. Mimi, if we can get that address out to everybody via email, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Definitely, yes, Madam Chair. I can do that.
And this is Laura Gilligan. Are there any other active committees in the county? To my knowledge, I'm not sure. Maybe one on the west side, but I don't know that there are. Might just be the City of Phoenix right now.
Leading the way again, City of Phoenix. We will definitely check on that, Laura, and we'll get back with you and let us know what we find. Thank you.
Madam Chair, if I may, the obligation, although I don't consider it an obligation to conduct a DVFRT, is linked to an Attorney General's grant. And so pretty much any agency that's accepting AGO funds, if they're a family advocacy center, is probably producing a DVFRT.
Thank you. Hopefully you guys don't mind if I call people out, but Melissa Brickhouse, do you know if there's one being created in the West Valley? If you're still in the West Valley, I could be completely wrong.
There was a West Valley fatality team, but it ended when COVID hit. It never reformed after the pandemic. And so I have not heard any plans for the West Valley fatality review team to reconvene.
Do you know if where we could find historical reports that maybe we can look at some of the historical recommendations?
There should be. I know that the recommendations we made were submitted to the AG's office. And so I'm suspicious that they probably, I don't know if there's an archive date on those, but I do know for the 3 years that the West Valley review team did convene, that we did make yearly recommendations that were submitted. So I don't know where the AG's office stores that archival information.
Okay, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Sorry for calling you out.
No worries. That's right.
I'm off her Christmas list. Okay, that's all right. All right, so hearing and seeing no other hands raised, we'll go ahead and move to item 8, which is comments from the committee. Are there any comments or announcements from the membership?
This is Allie Klein.
Hi, Allie.
Hey, how are you guys? Pardon me. I had an opportunity to meet with a place, Eve's Place, which is a local shelter. They're actually they've changed their business model to do a lot more virtual, and actually driving out to meeting people who are suffering the threat of domestic violence or in a domestic violence situation. And they had their opening of their new central location where they have.
Yep, you went on mute. Allie, you went on mute.
Sorry,
There
did
you
I?
go.
I must have touched something that muted me. Anyway, Eve's Place. They have not, to my knowledge or theirs, had any representation on this organization. And so when I spoke with them, I asked if that was something that they might be interested in, since they're in Sun City. So would it be all right if I sent my information to either Mimi or Amy, whoever the right person is? Because I think they would be very interested in participating and hearing the resources that are available and the things that are going on. I also had a chance to meet at that same meeting with a group of folks that works with them, but primarily focuses on the Native American community. So they're a little out of parts of our geographic, but they do serve some of the parts of the Native American community that are close by. So they also had no idea that this met at MEG. So it was great to talk with them and talk about what has been going on in all of the meetings that we've had. And I think some of them would be very interested. So first of all, I had a great opportunity to meet with them. Their offices are now in Sun City, in the location that used to be Sun Health's location on Coggins. So I'll, if it's okay with you guys, if you tell me who to send their contact information to, I'll be glad to maybe have you invite them to our next meeting, at least to hear what we talk about.
Thank you, Allie. I see both Amy's head and Mimi's head nodding. So I think if you want to send it to either one of them, they'll be happy to reach out and make those individuals aware of our next meeting.
Perfect. It was a great opportunity, and it just happened to fall into my, hey, you get to go here thing. So active in the west side. If you count Sun City as the west side, I'm not sure where the west side actually stops anymore.
Allie, you keep going on and off mute.
Sorry, it must be my computer's been acting funny. So they're on the west side of the I-17. So I think they would be great partners.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate you bringing them to us and us to them. And we look forward to having them be part of this. Mr. Lefevre.
Just to let you know, Madam Chair and members, we are just in the process. I think we submitted it today. Applied for a competitive grant from BJA that would be community violence intervention focused. And I know our primary focus that we're putting in that grant that we wrote for was for younger age, trying to get to people before they would enter that primary age of crime, which is 24 to 35. So if we're successful at getting that grant, it would be fairly large for a number of years. And there may be some opportunities, especially around some of the teen dating violence stuff that I know you guys are very big on, that we might be able to partner with that. But I bring that up now again as just one more kind of thing that we're looking at of how do we try and bring more resources into the state? So hopefully I'll know more whenever they would announce it. So hopefully by the end of September, we would know. But if I know we get that, then that'll be a big issue for us that we'll want to start interacting more with groups like this around the state on trying to let you guys know kind of what we have resource wise available for that. So more to stay tuned. Just kind of wanted to plant that seed with everybody.
Thank you. More exciting news. Thank you.
Great news. Thank you.
If no one else has anything, again, I have a few things. First,
Madam Chair, I don't know if I missed it quickly, about for next meeting, if we wanted to have anything on the agenda.
Yes, please go ahead.
We are working, the city is working with an organization, Semicolon, in the space of suicide prevention. And would love to have an opportunity to have her present to the board. If we could. Her organization's been really working hard in the city with us, and we trust her in that space. She's a psychiatrist also, and who has the organization working with us. So if that's something that we are interested in, I could connect Miss Mimi with her, and then maybe we can have her on our agenda for next week, if we can.
Thank you. Absolutely. Mimi and Amy are both shaking their heads again. So that would be excellent if you could share that contact information. Thank you. All right. So my announcements, one, I want to acknowledge that one of our committee members, Vice Mayor Lupe Bandine, this is going to be her last meeting with us. I want to thank her for her insight and work related to the crisis workforce development and encouraging individuals to pursue a career in victim services. So again, Vice Mayor Bandine, thank you so much. We will miss you on this council. And if anybody else would like to make any comments, I'll open the floor before I go on to a couple of other announcements I have.
Madam Chair, I was feeling really sad when I met her at the last APS at a lunch tea party that we had at the Biltmore, and she mentioned that she's looking into this path of I told her not retirement, but rehiring, because we're gonna definitely have to keep her busy in the community. I enjoyed working with her in the last 2-3 years that we've met and doing things in this space. Thank you so much for all your work, and I got your cell number and I know where you live.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I would just like to say that, I'm actually retiring. I decided not to run for re-election, and I've decided to retire early. So my last day as an official council member, vice mayor, will be June 30th. So I'm actually trying to retire. So anyway, this is one step, and I have just really enjoyed working on the DV Council. It's been so important, and I just want to thank everybody for all the work they do, and it's been a great experience for me. Thank you.
Well, thank you. We hope you enjoy your retirement. Some of us, well, I'll just speak for me, a little jealous, but hey, it's okay. Congratulations. Thank you for all the work that you've done in your career. We really respect you and appreciate all the work. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All right, next, I'd like to just acknowledge who's not present with us anymore. Kelly Williams has been working with the committee for many years, and she left to pursue another career opportunity. And I just want to express that I'm grateful for everything that she's taught me about being a chair on this council and her support. So I know that she will be missed at MAG, and I really wanted to just acknowledge the work that she had done. So
thank you, Madam Chair. That was really nice. I know she was the one who twisted my arm to become vice chair too. So she had a way.
She had a little violence in her, but I'm just kidding.
She had a way.
And then finally, Amy St. Peter, I want to thank you so much for stepping up as interim Human Services Director to assist this committee. We really appreciate your continued support. And again, anything that we can do to help with this as well, we are here to do that. So welcome aboard. Welcome back aboard.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. It's great to be back. I love the work of this committee and just respect all of you tremendously. So very excited to be able to work with you again in this capacity. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mimi, always thank you. You keep me on track. You keep me like focused. So I appreciate you.
You're very welcome, Madam Chair. I enjoy working with you.
Thank you. All right, if there are no more announcements or comments, I want to thank everybody for attending today. The next meeting for the Regional Council will be held on August 1st at 2 o'clock. I hope everybody enjoys their summer. Please stay hydrated and cool. And with no further business, today's meeting is